All right, Shalom. Fellow Sabbath and all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, the honors to the elders and the apostles that were well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth in sincerity. This is South Sudan on edge as renewed violence displaces hundreds of thousands. Right, so I'm gonna jump down. It says heavy fighting in South Sudan's northern John Galei, I think that's how you say it, state has displaced 280,000 people, with health facilities ransacked and humanitarian supplies looted, according to the United Nations. Thousands of civilians fleeing violence across the River Nile now shelter without adequate food, water, or medical care amidst outbreaks of cholera and malaria. The conflict has reignited ethnic targeting reminiscent of the civil war that killed 400,000 people before the 2018 peace deal, which observers say has all but collapsed. Survivors describe killings of relatives in desperate conditions and making in makeshift camps, while endemic corruption and the government's failure to deliver basic services continue to fuel grievances. Right, so this is the plagues of the scriptures. The Lord said there was going to be all types of hell going on around the world before he returned. So I'm going to press play on this video, and then I'm going to add some precepts afterwards.
The UN says heavy fighting's continued in the northern part of Jonglei state. That's on the eastern side of the River Nile. The UN says that health facilities have been ransacked, humanitarian supplies have been looted, and about 280,000 people have been forced from their homes. Now, the river provides a crucial transport link throughout South Sudan. This is in a context where an oil for roads program resulted in recent years in hardly any roads being built, and it became an infamous corruption scandal, one of many, and it's the almost total lack of delivery of services by the government of South Sudan is one of the many grievances fueling this conflict. Now, we're heading down the Nile towards the town of Minkaman to try and speak to some of the people who've fled their homes. Many came across the river in boats. Town officials told us large groups have gathered in remote locations along the riverside. There was no sign of the missing millions of petrodollars on the dirt track we drove down. Nor was there, at the end of it, where we found thousands of people who've been living out in the open for weeks. Everyone here is hungry. Agok Milu is exhausted. She told us she fled for her life with her 6 children.
When the war arrived in Pajut, many people there were killed. My father and 2 of my uncles were killed. On the way here, the fighting separated us from our relatives. At least there's no fighting here, but the problem is hunger. We have no water, we sleep outside.
Many people here survived the last civil war by fleeing. About
Look like all women to me, and they always doing that, putting all the women up first. But those the people that's really fleeing, the women, because they can't stand and fight, and that's what's coming to America. You women not gonna be able to stand and fight. Y'all gonna flee. Y'all gonna be extremely scared in these days, and y'all gonna try to seek to the men of the Lord. But a lot of y'all not gonna make it, because the Lord has been watching y'all, and we've been watching y'all through the Spirit. Certain characteristics and certain things that y'all do, witchcraft, adultery, amongst damn near the top 2. Abortion after abortion will not be accepted or forgiven going into the kingdom of heaven. The Lord is looking to get the men of the Lord the best of the worst. You bitches know you women know what type of mentality and actions that y'all have been having and portraying and putting out there in the world, especially you IG models and you what they call influencers. Now that they're influencing the nation to be corrupt, just add because of some situation that your ass been in with a man, because you don't know how to treat a man, etc. And then the men, they wicked themselves. All that's being taken into account right now. Y'all gonna end up like these women and then eventually killed.
400,000 people were killed, many of them civilians targeted for their ethnicity. Observers say the peace deal that ended it in 2018 has all but collapsed. The chief told us many people here fled simply because they saw others on the move and they feared the worst would happen again.
I appeal to the government. While they are fighting, they should at least help the people here. We need you to escalate the message to whoever might help us. People are killed, so there is trauma plus hunger. We ask you to escalate the message so we can be helped.
There's hardly any shelter here except for the shade of the trees. Many of the people say they've been here for weeks. Some people have been rigging up mosquito nets over sticks at night for some basic protection from malaria. There's an outbreak of cholera. Medical organisations say it's spreading, it's getting worse. People here say they desperately need help. Malcolm Webb, Al Jazeera, Lake State, South Sudan.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture.
All right, bear with me. This is second Ezra chapter 15, verse 49. I will send plagues upon thee. Hold on, bear with me. All right, the second Ezra chapter 15, verse. I'm starting verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. And that's what we've been speaking to our people, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latins, Native Americans, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, the Bible, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Right, so we're not afraid of what a person say they're going to do unto us. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Right, their unbelief. Don't let it bother you. You got the truth. Walk in the truth. Everybody who don't have the truth, whether they have your family or not, don't let it get to you. The Lord has an elect that He's given the truth to. Everyone else, He's condemning. It says, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So it's death coming to these people. And that's for our people, the Israelites. Now, if they not of Israel, they of the heathen, in which case a lot of them so-called African nations over there in Africa are heathen. That's why they're going through what they're going through. They ain't got no salvation. They ain't got no help coming. They have to pay for slavery. So that's why they're going through this, man. It says, Behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, not just America. The sword, famine, lack of food, death, they dying from wars, and destruction. The destruction is going to ultimately be the end of America. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. And what's them going for? All that witchcraft. Remember the Lord cast them heathen out in the ancient world because the gods they believed in, and our people took part in that. Same now today, the industry. A lot of them guys got that money and went back over there to Africa and started figuring out what demons and gods they worship, and they started partaking. I Show Speed was the most recent guy who did it. 21 countries, and he got involved with all of their rituals. Yeah, so he got death coming, man. You know, unless the Lord forgive him, but he up there with the wealthy, those who have sold their soul. So you know, the Lord not fucking with nobody that sold their soul. You know, it's special cases, but the way he looking and going, and you know, it look like he might not have a chance. So you know, fuck them niggas. They want to copy them. That's the thing. That's why we over here anyway. We fled from Jerusalem from sinning to Africa, then fled from Africa from sinning to America. See, I mean, not fled, went into captivity uh, uh, um, in Africa, got brought to America from the same idolatry. Niggas don't get it, but it is what it is. So, I got some more information I want to bring in. This is as of February 2026, John Gilead is a highly unstable state in eastern South Sudan, facing major conflict driven displacement, um, with over 180,000 to 280,000 people displaced due to renewed fighting. Bor is the state capital. Ongoing clashes between government forces, SSPDF, and opposition, along with intertribal violence, Nur Murrell, have created a humanitarian crisis, leading to evacuated aid facilities and severe access restrictions. Key aspects of John Gilead State 2026. It says conflict and instability. The region is experiencing intense fighting with government forces conducting a major offensive against the SPLAIO in early 2026, causing widespread panic, evacuations in countries like Ayod and Fangak, and targeting of humanitarian infrastructure. Humanitarian crisis. Over 177,000 people are identified for emergency aid in countries such as Nairobi, Uror, Akobo, and Duke. An airstrike on a MSF hospital in Lankian in February 2026 significantly disrupted medical care. Um, Geography. Jonglei is the largest state by area. It is characterized by the Sud Swamp and is closely associated with the long-stalled Jonglei or Glei Canal Project. Demographics. Home to several ethnic groups, including the Dinka, Nuer, and Merle, who have historically engaged in conflict, often driven by cattle raiding and competition for resources. It says governance. The state is subdivided into 9 countries, with Bor serving as the administrative center. The United Nations has expressed grave alarm over the escalating violence and the risk to civilians, calling for a political solution rather than a military one. All right, so give me a second. This is where it's at. South Sudan. Now this is what South Sudan is in the land of used to be called the land of Ham in the ancient world, but Africa now. Sudan. Named after Scipio Louis Africano. Right, so This 2 Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Just like the Lord sent plagues upon Egypt to condemn it and overthrow it and show his might to deliver his people. The same thing is going on right now today for the whole world. Because there's going to be a deliverance for the nation of Israel, because we are driven into all countries in the world. So there will be a salvation and a deliverance for the Lord's elect, depending on where you are. It says, verse 15, the fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. Right. What you see going on around the world and how bad it looks, it's going to get worse. These plagues will not stop until the Lord returns to bring peace unto the earth. So what you see going on in Janglia and South Sudan and them other little countries that's surrounding South that's in Sudan that's going through this hell, it's only going to intensify. Now, trying to bring it back up. It's all good. It will not be pacified. It will not be slowed down. Nothing. It's all good. Look up the area. You are the future kings of the world. Princes, princesses. These places will be owned, and the rest of the planets will be owned by the elect men and women. Starting with us. I'm of the elect. But yeah. So I'm gonna end it with this precept. Second Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world. Right? Miseries. They're going through miseries because they have walked in great pride. Right? Africa is known for what? All that witchcraft, the homosexuality. The heathen are down there. Look at the way they circumcise their women. The heathen customs of stretching out the ears and the mouth and the nose and all this shit is going to be done away with, because the kingdom of heaven is next. And in the kingdom of heaven, all the nations will have to learn our ways. So the Lord is punishing them now. And then he return, he going to show that it's him. Because the word is already going out, and the people already gathered in their ear that the Israelites, and questions are being asked. And the scriptures is coming to pass people's face, so people believe. They just don't have the full understanding of the gospel, because the Lord don't give everybody the full understanding of the gospel. But when he returns and they see him with his people, oh yeah, the world gonna bow, because he's gonna return in power, and we're gonna put everything back in order righteously, because the world was made for our sakes to begin with. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna read it one more time. This 2 Ezra chapter 8 verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the later time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Right. So that being said, call Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.